Should I go live on TikTok too? What's going on? Hi, how are we? Oh my God, I'm trying to go live on TikTok and YouTube at the same time. Is this gonna work? How are we? My room is such a mess. Okay, Ma. Okay, Ma. How is everyone? Happy Tuesday. This is so trippy. Where's my mirror? Actually decent today. Oh my God, fun. Love. How are you doing? I'm doing good. How are we? What's everyone up to? What time zone is everyone in? It's 12:16 for me right now in Shanghai. How was your Lunar New Year? My Lunar New Year was very chill. I just was in Australia December, January for a bit. So I just stayed in Shanghai, and it's so dead in Shanghai during Lunar New Year, during Chinese New Year. So just been chilling, hanging out with my friends. 9:16 for me in AZ. Slay. Because Shanghai is like a big sort of like migrant city. So a lot of people here are actually from other parts of China. So people go back to their hometown, and then it's like Shanghainese people are here, or Shanghainese people will travel elsewhere. And yeah, it was so funny. Like I had dinner with my friend and she was like, there's just a lot of lonely white guys walking around Shanghai right now. I think because like a lot of foreigners probably go home during Christmas and New Year's. So during Chinese New Year, if they don't plan to go anywhere, they'll just like be in Shanghai walking around. 11:17 in New York. Cute. Do you earn money on TikTok? No. My account is Australian, so I don't make any money. Currently trying to do content creation and flopping. How do I stay consistent and keep faith that eventually I will slay? You just got to keep posting, babe. You just got to keep posting. What's your latest obsession? My latest obsession is steamed rice with butter and soy sauce. So my friend was telling me about this she's reading called Butter. It's by a Japanese author, and it's based on a true story of this woman in Japan who had like a bunch of sugar daddies, and she would like cook for them and lure them in with her cooking, and she had this food blog, and then I think like 3 or 4 of these men ended up dead. So then this book is like based on that story, and then she describes like eating steamed rice with butter and soy sauce, and the way that it's described is like so intense that it basically influences you to cook butter and fried rice. So I've been modifying it. So I have like steamed rice and millet, and then I also will steam pumpkin with it because I just put it all in the rice cooker. And then I'll have it with like butter, soy sauce, and either a steamed egg or fried egg. Still good. Do you make mood board like manifestation? No, not really. My Chinese zodiac sign is Rooster. Hi, babes. Yay! Thanks for joining. How to assert straight mean dominance in corporate. I think you don't need to be like, you don't need to dominate in the same way that men try to dominate when you're a woman. I think there's like this misconception that in order to be taken seriously as a woman in professional settings, you need to act like a man. But personally, I feel like being able to lean into your femininity and like integrate it with masculine traits will set you apart and also get you more respect. Like, because if you're in a male dominated industry and you're trying to act like a man as a woman, men would just deal with men. You know, they don't want to deal with a woman who's trying to be like a man. They want to deal with a woman that has abilities that are like different or sets being able to, you know, still lean into being friendly and personable, but also to have firm boundaries and to sort of like use more, start with like indirect communication so you can sort of lead people into a new idea rather than being like, no, I don't agree, it should be like this. You'd be like, oh, well, have you thought about it this way? Maybe you feel like, I feel like there could be possibilities if we do it this way. I know that a lot of women, like, they don't like the idea of having to like adjust how they communicate. But to me, I feel like you need to have your eye on the prize. So I love your take to the voice of reason. Thank you, babe. One day at a time. Empathetic but assertive. Yes, exactly. How to articulate your value, though. I'm criminally humble that it's embarrassing. Then stop like trying to lead with humility. Your value is like through what you do, not just what you say. So you need to do things and be happy and like confident with what you do while still being open to learning and evolving and adjusting your approach over time, I think. So have you read Camille Paglia books? I have not. Do you recommend? You can literally Google like feminine versus masculine traits and have a look how they come up for you, what you can work on, what you can nurture. Can I say I love you? Love you. Hellenistic health freak. Manipulation of men gets you far. At the end of the day, like everything is kind of like manipulation. So you can manipulate in a way that's beneficial for you and the person that you're dealing with, or that benefits you at their expense, or you can be manipulated in a way that makes you act against your best interests or goes against your best interests. So I think at the end of the day, it's about finding ways to create win-win relationships. Okay. That or I'd have to keep focusing on winning, but actually being empathetic and assertive is being able to take stock of what your best interests are, what your goals are, to extend your awareness towards whoever you're dealing with and think like, what are their best interests as well, communicate with them, and then find a happy middle ground that works for both of you, you know? I think that's the goal. Obviously, that's harder than only thinking about yourself or only trying to retaliate against the other person. But in my opinion, it's definitely more sustainable and more fun. So if you just put in a little bit of extra effort up front, that will get you far, in my opinion. And then you also know like how much effort this situation or this relationship requires, and you can pivot and nurture other things where when you realize, okay, I'm at the limit for this, so let me take this energy and apply it elsewhere. You don't become like too attached to outcomes in any particular situation because okay, I've reached the limit with this person or with this opportunity. Let me move on to the next thing. Let me nurture something else. Let me focus on a hobby. Let me focus on my friendships. Have you read or heard about Ayn Rand? I've heard about Ayn Rand, and she's actually the ex of Nathaniel Branden, who wrote the book, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem, which I love, but I have not read Ayn Rand's work. But they had a very tumultuous, toxic relationship. New DJ, any advice for me, by the way? I love your content. Just keep practicing, keep listening to music, keep thinking of creative ways to mix. Keep at it. That's the only advice I have. Harry, my Chinese New Year was great, thank you. How are you? I act like I'm a day one. I feel like how to deal with women who are intimidated in the workplace. Just kill them with kindness, babe. I think you don't have to do anything. You just keep doing whatever you want to do. Like if people are intimidated by you, that's got nothing to do with you. If you're like being kind and considerate to others and people have a problem with you, that's their problem. If you're like going out of your way to be hostile to people, maybe don't do that. But if you're living your life, I think you can try to include people by being like, oh, what do you think? Oh my God, I love that was really great what you did, in order to diffuse any tension that they might have built up in their mind. But other than that, I don't think it's worth your time and energy. She writes really obscure takes on gender, really interesting and thought-provoking, not necessarily so interesting to think outside the box. Yes. She's like an objectivist or something, right? I'm reading about Confucianism and feminism right now, so super flop right now. Don't feel connected to friends. I crave connection. Then start connecting with yourself. Do things that you enjoy. Live in the moment. Practice gratitude. Like, do things that show and demonstrate care for yourself, so being intentional with the way that you spend your time, being intentional with the things that you eat. Try to be intentional with your morning routine, evening routine. These all demonstrate to yourself that you care about you, and it allows you to connect with yourself as well. And then make bids to connect with your friends as well, or to connect to some kind of community, whether you're doing like dance classes or I don't know, yoga, whatever. Like go and be around people, because I think like for me, I definitely go through phases where I am more introverted and a little bit antisocial, and there is this temptation to just like lock yourself at home. But I think going to yoga or going to dance class and pole dance, that helps me to just like still be around people without having to like exert that much energy socially. And then it just kind of keeps you afloat and feeling like part of the world, because I could easily just stay inside for a whole week and like literally not go outside except to throw my rubbish out. But I recognize that that's probably not a healthy way to approach life. So going out for walks, even if you're like listening to music, even if you're not, good to be present when you're in your outside environment as well. And yeah, it's just a phase. Before slay, there is flop. In flop, there is slay. In slay, there is flop. So I think embracing how you feel and not judging yourself for it is how you move through those emotions faster. And then you can focus on slaying. What are your current favorite beauty products? My favorite beauty product, I'm into the Benefit Florent. Love her. MAC lip liners. I have accumulated so many. I always buy them when I'm at duty free. Holy Grail products are Kiss Me Cosmetics mascara, primer, and mascara. The third generation one. Oh, another Holy Grail, Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation, Super Stay. I bought this in Japan last year, I think like August. And I feel like I bought a second bottle when I was in Australia or when I was in Japan recently again. But I've been like on the market for a foundation that was like buildable, natural finish, long wear. This is the one for me. I've tried so many. My headband is from Taobao. Got a DJ controller recently. Been having a really good time alone in my room. Fun hobby. Yay! I exclusively avoid being friends with women who brag about their boyfriends because they're dating bums 99% of the time. Real. I don't have friends that date bums. Thank God. Could you talk about detachment? I don't know how to not take things personally. If you want to not take things personally or you want to work on that, I reckon the 4 agreements. The 4 agreements: don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, be true to your word, and try your best. I think not taking things personally is recognizing, like, okay, firstly, you need to do an audit on yourself. Who am I? What's happened to me that's been good or bad, desirable or undesirable? What are the parts of me that I like? What are the parts of me that I don't like? What are like my values? What are my goals? And when you sort of like take stock of this and you sort of like mentally embrace the full spectrum of who you are, from the parts of you that you like, that you don't like, that you're afraid of, that you're proud of, that you want to be, that you want to nurture. And then you realize that like everybody has that for themselves, right? And everyone's like living life through their own point of view. When you're communicating with other people, when you're doing it from a loving place, extending yourself towards each other, that means you're holding space for each other's reality and you're kind of creating a third reality together. When you're taking things personally, you are assuming that like whatever you've projected, perception is truth, and like what people project onto you is truth as well, when it's not really. It's just like 2 different perceptions that are like at odds. So I feel like also becoming aware of your emotions and how it's up to you to sort of like figure out what, okay, wait, I wrote this down yesterday. Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. What did I say? Okay, what you perceive and what you interpret it to mean and how you feel about it are 3 separate things, okay? So just because you like observe something or you assume something based on what someone has said about you, you can interpret it however you want. Okay, you can interpret it as something that's true, something that's not true, something you relate to, something you don't relate to, and then how you feel about it. Do you want to care about it or not? Those are like 3 different things. So when you sort of are able to distinguish those things, you just take things less personally. You know, you need to embody your personal experience and your own point of view first in order to recognize that how other people perceive you is not necessarily going to be in line with who you are, who you actually are. Okay, let me just catch up on comments. Curious. Keep clinging, putting lots of expectations on any and every talking stage with a man, only for me to later realize how stupid I was. Didn't actually want him, I just want him to want me. Yeah. I don't believe in talking stages. Stop calling things talking stages. Okay. You are just getting to know someone. And I think at the beginning stages of talking to anyone, regardless of gender, I would try to have like a platonic approach to it. Like, I'm just getting to know this person, and over time, it will determine whether we are friends or romantic or not. And honestly, like, if you're not gonna hang out, I wouldn't put too much emotional investment on anything that's like